NRL vids 090 back here with another tipping video for today. And yeah, today's my round 5 NRL tips for the 2021 season. So there's some big games this week. I mean, such as Raiders and Panthers. That's a good way to kick off Friday night. And then there's also the Roosters and Sharks. I think that's going to be a really interesting game personally because, I mean, Sharks have been in some good form lately. So I think they, could possibly push the Roosters. And another good game probably is the Dragons and Eels. I think, Dragons obviously have 3 wins and 1 loss. So they've had a pretty good start to the season, whereas Eels have been like 4-0. So that's going to be a really good game in my opinion as well. So I'm looking forward to round 5. Hopefully it's a good round for all your teams. And yeah, let's get into my tips. So obviously the first game is Rabbitohs and the Broncos, and just the ins and outs for the Rabbitohs because it's their home game at Stadium Australia. So the ins and outs are Cody Walker got suspended, so obviously he's replaced by Benji Marshall at number 6, and King of Koloamatangi is also out with suspension, so replacing him in the starting back row is Jacob Host, and coming off the bench is Dean Hawkins to make his NRL debut. For the Broncos, they're only out Herbie Farnworth, and replacing Herbie Farnworth is Richard Kenner in the centres, and Patrick Carrigan's out, and replacing Patrick Carrigan, I'm pretty sure that is I think it's John Asiata who replaces him. So that's the ins and outs of both teams there. Look, for this game, it's going to be a clear win for the Rabbitohs. I think Rabbitohs will be way too good for the Broncos. I'm going to go Souths to win 34 points to 16. I think they'll be way too good at home for Brisbane. And then the first game on Friday night, it's at the Central Coast Stadium in Gosford. It's between my Sea Eagles against the Warriors. Now, guys, I'll be going to this game. I decided I will take a trip up the coast. Despite Manly having a shit start to the season, losing 4 games to start the opening year, I just want to go up and support the boys. I reckon, it's about time I go to a Manly game this year, and I want to go to one. And Central Coast is nice. It's a nice stadium. So look, I'll be going up there on Friday afternoon. But the ins and outs for both teams are. So for the Warriors, they've obviously lost Fanua Blake, who won't be playing against his former team, unfortunately. But oh well, that kind of helps Manly. So replacing him at prop is Leeson Armour, and also out is Bailey Sirinen. So replacing Bailey Sirinen off the bench is Tom Arley to make his NRL debut, I'm pretty sure. And replacing Bunty Afoa is Josh Curran off the bench as well. So that's the ins and outs for the Warriors there. For Manly, Moses Sully's obviously injured his back last week after a knee in the back in last week's match against Penrith. So replacing him in the centres is Morgan Harper. And Morgan Ball obviously dislocated his shoulder, so replacing him off the bench is Toff Sipley. But the rest of the team is the exact same team as last week and the week after that, and yeah, not good. But for this game, I reckon Manly will turn up. I reckon my boys will turn up. I think Warriors are definitely probably more favourable to win, but I reckon our boys will turn up this week. I mean, I've only tipped Manly twice this year. I tipped them against Dragons, and that didn't work out well, but surely Des, he's a great coach. Surely after 4 straight losses, the boys turn up this week and try and avoid 5 straight losses. Surely the boys turn up this week, but I can't guarantee it. But I think we'll turn up because there's no Fanua Blake, there's no Foa, and they got a couple out. But mind you, there's no Turbo for us, and we're almost nothing about Turbo. But I will back Manly to win this week, 20 points to 14 over the Warriors. And now the last game on Friday night at Bluebet Stadium in Penrith, it's between the Panthers and the Raiders. The ins and outs of the Panthers. So the Panthers, they have no ins and outs. They're the same team as last week, and they beat Manly. For the Raiders, Curtis Scott's still out with a rib injury, so replacing him is Sebastian Chris in the centres. But the rest of the team is the same as last week as well. This will be a blockbuster. This will be a blockbuster game. I'm looking forward to this one. Look, I mean, I think everyone will be tipping Panthers because they're in better form than Canberra, and it's at Penrith. But I'll tell you what, I'm tipping Canberra for this game. I think Canberra will win. I think Penrith are due for a bad game, but they never really have a bad game. I think everyone says Panthers are due for a bad game, but that never really happens. So, look, I think Raiders will turn up either way, and I think they will win in a very close one. So, I'm going to go Canberra to win 19 points to 16. I think a late George Williams field goal will seal the deal to win by 3 points. So, 19 points to 16 over Penrith Panthers, and tipping Raiders to win by 3 points. So, either way, it's going to be a good game, though. I reckon a good contest. And our Super Saturday kicks off in the Gold Coast at Seabus Super Stadium between the Titans and the Knights. So the ins and outs for the home team, the Gold Coast Titans, they've got Anthony Don's out, so replacing Anthony Don on the wing is Philip Sammy, and Brian Kelly will come back to the team in the centres. So that's the only changes right there. For the Knights, Caleb Ponga is obviously the big one who returns this week. So he plays fullback, and then Mitchell pieces out, so Blake Green will move from the bench to halfback, with also Kurt Mann being out, so Connor Watson will be Blake Green's halves partner. And looks like David Clemens fine to play after last week. He suffered some sort of injury, but he's fine to play. Suarez will start lock this week. And Chris Randall will join the bench with Brady Jones. And that's the team right there for the Knights. For this game, I've got the Gold Coast Titans to win at home. I think Titans will be a little bit too good. They're not really missing any big names or anything like that. They seem to be in better form as well. They seem to be playing pretty well so far. And I think Knights, they look all right as well. But I think, at home, I think Titans will be a little bit too good. So I've got the Titans to beat the Knights 28 points to 18 on Saturday afternoon. Now, the second game on Saturday, Super Saturday, I should say, is the Bulldogs versus Storm at the Stadium Australia. Now, this is a game I could go to, depends, but we'll see. So the team for the Bulldogs, that Dallin Watene-Lesley makes his return from suspension, so he'll come at fullback. And Corey Allen will shift to the centres, with Nick Kotrick also shifting to the centres as well, so a bit of a change there. Luke Thompson makes his return from eye gouge suspension, so he will start at prop with Offa Hickey Ogden dropping to the bench, and Josh Jackson returns from suspension, so he'll go back to lock. And that's the Bulldogs team right there. With the Storm have got no outs apart from Trent Lorio, who made his NRL debut last week. So replacing Trent Lorio off the bench, it is Tui Kamakamika, and that's and Harry Grant and Brenko Lee have been both named in the extended bench, but it's yet to be seen if they will play it. But that's the Storms in and outs right there. For this game, oh fuck me, I think this will be a big win for the Storm. I think Bulldogs have got nothing in the tank. I'll be surprised they score one try. I think I'll be really surprised, but I think they will score this week. But it won't be enough to win, obviously. So Storm to win 42 points to 10. Now, the last game of Super Saturday is actually a really good game, I reckon. Roosters and the Sharks. Now, Sharks are in some good form, and the Roosters, they are still grinding out without Keary in that. So, the ins and outs of the Roosters have got no changes, actually, after last week's win over the Warriors, so they've got no changes. For the Sharks, they've got no changes either, actually. The Sharks are unchanged after last week's win over the Cowboys. Look, for this game, I've got the Roosters winning 22 points to 20. I think it'll be a really tight game that will go down to the wire. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if the Sharks win, because Sharks have a good record over Roosters. And plus, Sharks have been in some really good form. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sharks win. But I will go Roosters because it's at the SCG. So Roosters to win 22 points to 20. Now, Sunday footy gets kicked off at Leichhardt Oval in Sydney at 4 p.m. It's between the Tigers and the Cowboys. So the team for the Tigers, Moses Zembai shifts to centres. And Tommy Talau pushes out to the wing with Asuke Apoa dropped, I believe. And then the rest of the team is pretty much the same as last week against the Eels. For the Cowboys, Justin O'Neill's out, so replacing him in the centres is, I think it's Hamiso. No, it's not Hamiso. It's Connolly Lumilu. I'm pretty sure that replaces him. And and I think the rest of the team's the same as last week as well. Oh, well, Jason Tamalolo's back, so he'll start lock. And that's nearly the same team as last week for the Cowboys when they lost the Sharks. So, that's the teams right there. But for this game, I was close to tipping Cowboys because Tamalolo was back and all that. But I think it's at Leichhardt, and Cowboys, they usually struggle at Leichhardt. I think Tigers, they'll be a little bit too good. I think they're in better form than Cowboys as well. So I've got the Tigers to win 26 points to 18. I think they'll be a bit too good for the Cowboys on Sunday. And to wrap it off for round 5, it's the last game of the round at Bankwest Stadium between the Eels and Dragons at Bankwest Stadium. So the team for the ins and outs for the Eels, they've got no changes actually. Eels are the same team as last week when they beat the Eels, apart from Bryce Cartwright coming off the bench, making his Eels debut, whereas Ryan Madison starts in the back row for this match after he was ruled out against Tigers. For the Dragons, they've got no changes either. The Dragons are the same team as last week when they beat the Knights. Look, this is going to be a really interesting game as well. I give Dragons a big chance of winning because I think they are looking really good. They're finally clicking, Dragons, but the Eels, they're 4 wins and 0 losses. They're flying at the moment. So I will go the Eels at Bankwest to win 21 points to 16. I think Mitchell Moses will convert a late field goal to make it go to 21. But look, I wouldn't be surprised if the Dragons win. I think they're in some good form as well. So be a good game either way. But I got the Eels winning 21 points to 16. But guys, that's the end of the video. Good luck to all your teams this week, and I'll catch you in the next one.